Hi everybody, this is Vanessa and I'm coming to you today to talk about something that I've been thinking about that maybe I'm suffering with and I didn't even realize I was suffering with, and it's something called the winter blues. Over the last week I've been really sick, and I kept thinking to myself, usually when I'm sick, it takes me about 3 or 4 days to get over being sick. But for some reason, this time, I'm not able to like snap back and come back to myself. And I kept thinking to myself, what could be the problem? And I started to think about something that I read on Facebook about the winter blues, or SAD, SAD. And SAD stands for seasonal affective disorder. And seasonal affective disorder, or the winter blues, is not something that you need to go to see a therapist about unless you have other stuff going on in your life. But it's just a disorder that happens to many of us during the winter months because our days have become shorter. It's really cold and uncomfortable. There's not so many things that you can actually do if you're an outdoorsy type of person and like to run and different things and be outside. It's pretty difficult to do it in New York City during this particular winter. This particular winter in New York City, we've had nine storms, snowstorms, and we're due to have another one on Wednesday. It's supposed to be a major storm, and we've actually broken a record of, I can't remember the year, I think it was 1995, where we had about 75 inches of snow, and this year I believe we had about 76 inches and counting. So New York has been inundated with the worst weather. Even though it hasn't been as cold as it could have been or could be, it's still pretty disturbing to have to go outside with the slush and the brown snow and having to wait for people to pass because there's only a little, spot for you to go through where people have created paths for you to walk. So it's pretty disgusting. Like, I really like the snow. I like to be able to be the first one to get down there and put my footprints in the snow or fall in the snow and do different things. But after the first hour or two, it just becomes pretty boring to me. But what can we do? I live in New York City where we have all the seasons, and this season has definitely put a stamp on the map in terms of the weather. So like I said, I was thinking about this SAD, or the winter blues, and I started to say, well, what can I do to help myself, and how can I help other people as well? So I actually did some of the research, and I went on Wikipedia and I put in winter blues, and it came up with a couple of steps. There are actually about 8 or 9 steps, and most of it you can do some yourself. Everything you can do yourself, everything you have to do for yourself. So it's not as if these are steps that are like unattainable. These are actually pretty easy. So one of the things that they talked about was to brighten your house. Especially me, I'm a homebody. I really don't like to go out unless I have to, or I really am dying to go somewhere. But normally I sit in my house every single day. I'll go out every few hours just to get a fresh air. But normally I'm at home. I'm really at home. So one of the things they talked about, like I said, is to brighten your house. And that means, you can use different types of bulbs, a higher wattage of bulbs. One of the things that I read that was a pretty good suggestion was, if you have a timer on your lights, you can actually time your lights to come on a half hour before you wake up, so that once you wake up, as you're getting up to prepare yourself for work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning here in New York City, it's still pretty dark. So you'll be able to have light when you wake up, because all the lights in your house will be on, and you'll feel an instant connection with the light and not wake up feeling so drabby, because you'll already have light in your house. So that's something that you can do. They also talked about something called light therapy, which you can get a light box which has UV rays, which will give you some vitamin D, which is something that you would normally get from the sun as you're walking outside, and it comes into your skin, and you're able to get that, and you can get that artificially by using a light box, which is a pretty good idea. exposing yourself to a lot of the natural light. So how can you expose yourself to a lot of natural light when our days are short? Well, they're suggesting that you actually get up earlier than you normally get up and utilize the morning light as much as you can, the daylight as much as you can, by going out, possibly doing some exercise or doing a winter hobby, doing something that will allow you to get used to the weather. And in getting used to the weather and getting into the natural light, you should also try to dress as warm as you can. Like for me, I'd rather be naked all day. Like I do not like wearing clothes at all. But one of the things that you can do is, of course, dress as warm as you can, as comfortably as you can in layers. And you'll be able to stay out as much as you want because you're dressed in layers, and you can take off what you don't need a little bit later or put on more that you might need to stay warm outside. These are pretty easy steps that you can take, but some things I don't really do, because most of the time, like I said, I really don't go out as much. But when I do, I don't put on as many clothes because I don't like clothes. I do wear a sweater and a coat, but I don't like the hat situation and the scarves and trying to find out where my gloves are and if I have the same matching pair, and it's just boring to me. And the boots situation, like I like sexy boots. I do not really like to go out in those winter boots and Timbs and different types of things. I like the sexiness, but what can you do in New York City? You have to wear boots that are comfortable for your feet and comfortable enough to wear in all the snow that we're having. Another thing that happens, which I noticed, but for me it's every day. I love junk food. I enjoy eating cakes and cookies and chips and popcorn, all those yummy things. But during the winter time, when you start to feel depressed, and most of the women that I know talk about reaching for that Haagen-Dazs or the Ben & Jerry's or something sweet. Because what actually happens is when your body is giving yourself signals that you're going to have these sweet goody things, junk food stuff, you start to increase, your body increases in serotonin levels, which is something that you can actually get from being outside and enjoying yourself. So because you're not able to get those serotonin levels during the winter months as much as you want, you look for it artificially. And that's when we eat all the junk food. You can have some junk food, but just have some kind of constraint and use portion control. I myself will have my donut every day or my cookie every day, but I do realize that I do eat more junk food during the winter time. So that's something that I have to work on in terms of working with my cravings and trying to create my serotonin levels in more positive ways and not add on all the calories and different things. Because for us women, sometimes our weight is a major thing. My last note I wanted to say, because I'm actually reading some notes, but the last thing that I wanted to say was that they also talk about creating a cozy environment in your home. Like for me, like I said, I'm a homebody, so the things that I like to do, I love candles, I love different lightings, but because they want us to brighten the house, I'm going to try to use candles a little less. And but I like to think that once in a while I'll go out every few weeks and pick up something that's different. Like I sort of redid the kitchen, me and Yvette, and who's actually in the kitchen right now, and she wants to do. She's going to be doing some exercise really soon, so that'll be kind of fun to do a little bit later. But create a coziness in your home where you don't have to trek outside. I have video games that I like to play, lots of music, lots of videos. Everything that I need is actually in this house. I really don't ever have to go anywhere if I don't choose to. So. And as far as entertainment, unless I want to be with other people, but those are some of the steps that they ask you to take. So one of the things that I thought that was really cool was that at the beginning of this video I put footage of our last winter storm that we had, where we received about 15 inches relatively of powdery stuff, and I put this video in the beginning and at the end of my video. And I know you can hear scratch meowing in the background, but I don't want to open the door because I'm doing my videos. So I wanted to say bye, and hopefully this helps you, as it is helping me definitely. And I know that I will be using some of the things that they suggested. Oh, I forgot. My last suggestion is to do a hobby. Do a hobby. Do a winter hobby. Like, I'm not really into different things, but I do like to ice skate. I like to knit, which is something that I used to do all the time. Which I can do indoors, but they're asking that you go outside and use some of the activities that you can do outside. So think of all the things that you can do outside, like make snowmen with your children, do snow angels, take walks, go to the park. Central Park is beautiful in New York City when it snows. So go to Central Park, do some sledding, have a horse ride. Well, that's not really a hobby, but like do something where you're outside enjoying the weather. And this will also create a different sense in yourself that winter is not all that bad. I personally prefer spring and summer. So let's see how long it takes. Facebook actually has a countdown, so I think today is day 50 before we can actually say it's springtime, even though spring is in March, my birthday's in March, and it's always cold. So let's see what happens. Okay, everybody, take care. Hope you come back. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Leave some comments, and I hope to see you again. All right, bye. I'm looking for my trusty remote, and here it is. Bye, everybody.